My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel where I like to talk about scary stuff. And I especially love this streaming service, Shudder. I cannot stop talking about all of the great movies they have on the service. It is a horror lover's dream. Truly, you will trip over yourself trying to find the hidden gems because it is a straight up treasure trove of great favorites. And I know you guys are regularly asking for suggestions for Shudder, and I thought heading into October, I would break down a fun list of recommendations to help you get into the spooky spirit. I've just made a list of 13 horror films that I think have the fun fall spooky Halloween vibes, and hopefully you enjoy them too. Obviously they have plenty of good Halloween movies on the service, but I dug a little deeper to try and find some hidden gem favorites that I want to share with you guys today. We're just gonna have a little fun here, and if you're not already subscribed, well, this is your personal invitation to do so, especially if you like talking Shudder. You're going to want to hit that bell, turn on your notifications, do all of the things you know you're supposed to do because there are plenty of horror-loving good times to be had here. Number 13 is Blood Quantum, because I know everyone loves some zombie action. This one has a bit of a different spin, set at a Native American reservation as a group of people must deal with a zombie outbreak and fight for their lives. You know the drill, you know how this goes. I do have to admit that I don't love the two timelines in this film. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, if you want those classic zombie thrills, Blood Quantum is probably the best pick on Shudder to give you what you're looking for. Number 12 is Dolls. I think it's safe to say this is a horror comedy. It's a classic setup where you have a little girl on a road trip with her dad and stepmom. It's a dark and stormy night when they break down on the side of the road near an old creepy mansion that just so happens to be full of a bunch of messed up dolls. This one is played seriously enough to balance out its wacky concept, and it has its heart in the right place with this young girl dealing with the wrong parents. We just want her to have a better family, a better life, and it totally works. This movie is easy, breezy, and light, and a really fun spin on that rocky horror setup. Number 11 is The Changeling. If you are not done with spooky mansions, well, good, because we got plenty more to go. This one follows a pianist as he has suffered a recent tragedy, and he moves into a spooky old mansion that, guess what, is haunted as fuck. This movie is pure dusty cobwebs and strange sounds down the hallway. If you haven't seen The Changeling, I will admit it took me a couple of views to really get into it. It is a bit slow, but I wouldn't say it's boring. You just gotta give it a minute to rev up. And once it gets to that final act, oh my god, one of the best haunted house movies ever made. Number 10 is One Missed Call, a Japanese horror film from director Takashi Miike about a group of young people who begin receiving strange voicemail messages that just may be premonitions of their future deaths. This, of course, did get a remake in America during the J-horror craze of the 2000s, but if you never got around to watching the original, it is so one of the best. This movie is so simple yet creepy and very effective. Another one that kind of plays it pretty straight until we get to a super scary ending, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Watch it for yourself. Number 9 is All Cheerleaders Die, a high school horror comedy about a group of young women who are killed in an accident but are brought back as demonic entities. I don't know about you guys, but I happen to love some high school horror around this time of year, and if you like Jennifer's Body, well, All Cheerleaders Die is like the extra fun version of Jennifer's Body. And this one isn't actually afraid to get a little gay, so this is my preferred version. Sorry, Jennifer's Body. Number 8 is Grave Encounters, the found footage favorite that I love to watch around Halloween season. A group of people working on a paranormal investigation reality show head to a haunted asylum to fake some scares, only to find themselves up against real ghosts as they become trapped in a never-ending series of hallways with no escape. I first watched Grave Encounters around Halloween, so it's just a Halloween staple to me, and one of the few found footage movies that I find to be genuinely scary. Number 7 is Pieces. If you're not looking to get scared, this gonzo 80s slasher is the perfect popcorn and beer kind of movie. A masked murderer is slicing and dicing beautiful women on a college campus using their body parts to try and assemble the ultimate woman. I really don't even want to say anything about Pieces. If you haven't seen it, you have to see Pieces to believe Pieces. Number 6 is The Haunting. Going back to the spooky old mansions, this classic follows 4 people who head to Hill House to conduct a psychiatric experiment only to be met with paranormal presences. This movie is black and white, it's almost 2 hours long, and there really aren't any big scares or kills. I know this isn't going to be for everyone, but this truly is a classic horror film, and it's one of the best of them. I often talk about how supernatural horror doesn't always do it for me, but around Halloween, I can't get enough of it, and this is one of the perfect classic supernatural horror staples that I can't go without. Number 5 is In Search of Darkness, a 4-hour-long documentary chronicling the best of 80s horror with all of our favorites from the genre given their 2 cents. And I just have to say, I absolutely love this and the sequel. Both are on Shudder right now. If you have 8 hours to kill, this is pure comfort viewing to me. I can just throw these on in the background at any time. The music is so fun. All of the people involved just have great things to say. And it's just overall such a wonderful celebration of horror, especially one of our favorite decades of horror. It's just such a good time. Number 4 is Pumpkinhead, one of the movies I will not stop championing. Lance Henriksen plays a single father who loses his son in a tragic accident, so he calls upon the demonic entity of Pumpkinhead to get revenge. This movie is an equal mix of 80s slasher and 80s creature feature with a surprising amount of heart that you don't find in either of those subgenres. Considering this was directed by Stan Winston, known for his effects, I think this is a wonderful little movie, and I'm surprised that it isn't talked about more. I wish more people would hit those comments and say, I love Pumpkinhead, because you know what? I love Pumpkinhead too, and I actually dedicated an episode of my Halloween special last year to it, so check that out if you want to hear me ramble about Pumpkinhead some more. Number 3 is Satanic Panic, a horror comedy from Chelsea Stardust about a pizza delivery driver who heads to a wealthy neighborhood to drop off an order when she becomes attacked by the entire community of wealthy Satanists who are hell-bent on sacrificing her for their own gain. Much like I comment on supernatural horror not always working for me, horror comedies are also quite difficult, and this one has it rides the line perfectly, where there's this gory madness happening that is just absolutely hilarious, but you're still on board because you care about this character escaping this community. And it's just such a fun time as she's running around from house to house, dealing with all of these crazy personalities. This is another one that I really don't feel like people talk about a lot, and it is a Shudder staple to me. If you want some laughs and chills, and you haven't seen Satanic Panic, well, change that immediately. Number 2 is Host, the supernatural screenlight flick that took the internet by storm last year. Is about a group of friends who are conducting a seance over a Zoom call when they connect with something much more demonic than they were expecting. This movie is genuinely creepy. Considering it is under an hour long, I am surprised it has the impact it has, and the fact that they truly filmed this over a Zoom call, and all of the actors had to perform their own stunts and their own effects all within camera, all within one take. They had to be edited at some point, but still, this movie is a cinematic feat in my opinion. I think it is so impressively well done. It is so scary. I'm not done talking about Host. Maybe everyone was done after last year. I don't care. Watch it again. Number 1 is The Queen of Black Magic, the number 1 movie that I'm Why are people not talking about this more? A pair of friends and their family members head to the middle of nowhere to visit the orphanage they grew up at, only to be welcomed by an evil force that begins terrorizing them in horrific ways. You guys, I am loving what I am seeing right now on Shudder that is coming from Indonesia. We have movies like Satan's Slaves and Pedagore. I have not seen May the Devil Take You, which is on Netflix, but they have the sequel, May the Devil Take You 2, on Shudder. I gotta get around to those two, but and watching Pedagore too. But The Queen of Black Magic is maybe the most Halloween-y to me personally. This movie manages to mix the supernatural and the gore in a way like we don't get, and I am loving it. Like, there are all kinds of supernatural creepy scenes, but there are also some nasty, gnarly effects in this movie that will have you squirming in your seat. I'm telling you, people are sleeping on this movie. If it's the subtitles for you, I gotta say, get over it. The Queen of Black Magic is so good. It's so worth it. It's honestly, even if you don't want to read the movie, you could honestly just have it on. The visuals in this film are just so powerful. I'm still thinking about it. I think I might go watch it again right now. That is my list of 13 random recommendations to watch on Shudder for the Halloween season, whether you're looking for some fun or you're looking to get genuinely scared. I hope there's something here for you. Definitely let me know your favorites, and of course they have so many great gems on Shudder. I could easily do a part 2. It was hard to narrow it down to 13 to begin with, but let me know your favorites in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it, especially if you made it to the end. Thank you guys for all of your support, especially heading into spooky season. This is the best time of the year, so if you are looking for another place to stop and hang out with some horror-loving friends, especially in the month of October, well, hit subscribe and be on the lookout for more Shudder Day reviews. You can head up my Shudder Day playlist to look at some older reviews I've done for the service. Don't look at the really old ones. There's some really bad quality stuff. Look for like the newer ones, okay? If you aren't already, follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd for more movie recommendations. That's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.